This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, we've been to many Mekaimos where traditionally people have come and there are all kinds of folklore that Nisim happened, and in fact we have many reports. But here we have the Kever of someone of eminent power in Limud Torah. This is somebody who the Ohr HaChaim HaKadosh went to for a haskama on the Sefer Chefetz Hashem. This is someone who is the preeminent Talmud Chacham here in Morocco. The Chida himself writes that it is known that people who are mishtateach here experience nisim and neflai. So this is not a matter of legend or folklore. This is what the Chida records in the Shem Hagadolim. This individual, first it says, Kanignazu atzamois kadoshos, and I believe that is very telling. What does it mean here is buried his holy bones? That is because when he was nifter in 1733, his bones rolled from their place 3 times, and there's a tradition, Soid Hashem Lirev, they had to roll. So, but now we're saying, his bones are located right over here. He was Pe'er Harabanim, Nezar HaChasidim. I want to share with you a terminology the Chida uses. This is a very rare terminology. The Chida in the Shem Hagdolim writes that Rabbi Yehuda ibn Atar, Av Bezdin, Rosh Mesifta Be'er Fez, he wrote a parish on the Medrash Rabbah, V'shamati shehu soiles nikia. This is a very rare expression. The Chida writes about hundreds of Gedolim, and he gives the expression soiles nikia, meaning the finest flour of all the Gedolim, of all the tzaddikim. He is considered from the highest echelon of all the tzaddikei olam who ever lived. Soiles nikia, the Chida writes. Now, Chida was not a storyteller, but he does bring down. He was Malaban, Malumad Benisim. Again, we've seen that expression many times, but not used by the Chida. Chida writes, he was Malumad Benisim. He says, many miracles happened while he was alive, and la'achar petirasai lemispalel al kivrasai. I don't believe the Chida writes this elsewhere, that somebody who davened by a gadol's kever experienced nisim. And then the Chida brings down that he heard that this tzaddik was thrown begoiv ha'arayos, and it's brought on the kever, that Rabbi Yehuda ibn Atar was thrown into the lion's den, and he miraculously survived for 24 hours, and then the Sultan realized that he was an Ish Alekim Kadosh. Chida writes that the whole Morocco would swear by him, but anyone who swore by Rabbi Yehuda ibn Atar falsely, Yamos, would die immediately. And then the Chida brings, V'oid nifloi shamanu v'naidoim hein bo'idenu chai v'av ki acharei moisai l'mishtateach al kivrei. So we're talking here about one of the great old-time tzaddikim, to the point where they wrote on the Matzeva an excerpt from the Chida that he was thrown begoiv ha'arayos v'nishar sham layla v'yoim v'hanishba b'shmoi l'sheker yamos hein bo'idenu chai hein achar petirasai. Now he was a tzaddik. He did not take any money from the Kehila. He was Nana Miyagir Kapav. And very interesting, the reason he was thrown into the lion's den is the community was charged with an exorbitant sum to pay the Sultan, and they couldn't pay. So they took Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar, they threw him begoiv ha'arayos, and he was miraculously saved. He was Ragil be'Elio Anavi. He was Ragil Begilui Elio, and not only him, but his Mishareses also was Ragil Begilui Elio. She saw Elio Anavi. The Yavitz, not Rabbi Yaakov Emden, there was a Yavitz of Fez, writes about him that in order to mourn him properly, we have to write a kinna. He deserves a kinna to experience, to be able to appreciate his gadlus. The community of Fez revered him so much that on the Moyadim, the entire city lined up to kiss his hand. However, it became very tiresome for him, so he would sit. They made him a special stool on his lap to rest his hand, and the whole city would walk by to be menashek the yad of this tzaddik. He was such a great Talmud Chacham that any edict in Fez that did not have a signature on it was considered pasul. He was the address of all matters of Torah and halacha. somebody who the Chida writes again was Soilas Nakia, and the Chida records Nisim v'neflois of anyone who is mispalel u'mishtateach al kivroi zuchusa yagen aleinu. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, just to add that you should be aware, Rabbi Yehuda ibn Atar was called Rabbi El Kabir, or El Kabir, the eminent one, the powerful one. That was a title of distinction that we don't find elsewhere. And he was born in 1655, and Nifter is 1733. Here it says that on the day of his birth, there was light to the world. The whole world was lit up. Harav HaKadosh HaNizkar, Heyer la'aretz adam bizman leidasai elol, Hey Tuf Tezvav, in 1655. But Olam Chashach was Ran Sha'ala Elokim, Yom Gimel, on a Tuesday Yud Tesivan, Hey Tuf Tzadi Gimel, that's 1733. He lived 77 years. So this is really halachically and Alpi Mesorah, one of the most powerful Kvarim B'chol Ha'olam Kulai. Okay, here on the bottom of the Kever we have Gur Ari Yehuda. So the story goes that one of the Chachamim in the city wrote a tshuva where he disagreed with Rabbi Yehuda ibn Atar, and in a dream a lion came and was aggressive and attacked him, and he didn't understand what happened. And the Chach Meir told him, how dare you start up with the Yehuda ibn Atar? He is a Gur Aryeh Yehuda from this week's Parsha, Parshas Vayechi. That's the significance of the emblem, Gur Aryeh Yehuda.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.